This is an unusual guitar. It's a lag Tramontane. Now here's where it all goes pear-shaped. For some reason or other, the first two clips went into slow motion. But let me just give you a little bit more. It's better, lights off. And the neck is made of mahogany. So, in this part where it went into slow motion and I've sped it up a little bit, it was telling you that the body type is a square shoulder. The body wood is made of Mexican snakewood with open pores. The wood top is Stika spruce. The neck wood is African mahogany, and the fretboard is Brownwood. Now that's probably not at the same time as what I'm seeing there. And it's an oval shape, etc., etc. It's a very nice guitar. The head was inspired by an 18th century French fireplace, of all things. And the thing that struck me most is the binding. I think that binding is called quarter round body binding. And the snakewood looks attractive too in the body, but I don't like the open pore design. I prefer not to have the open pore design. There's a little crack there and it's got splinters in it and everything, and it looks pretty grotty, and I'm going to have to do something with that. Overall, it's a lovely guitar, but I thought the build quality would be better, as you'll see what I mean as I go along. But there's a very surprising ending to this, because it's a beautiful guitar. The build quality I wasn't happy with. Those strings are far too heavy for it. Tuners are excellent condition. And there's one of my pet hates, people who tie their strings. That caused me no end of grief. Now the problem here is that the bridge has been cracked and pulls forward. Whenever you put the bridge in, you see when I put the screwdriver there and put a little pressure on, you can see the crack opening up. It's difficult to see, and when that crack opens up, there's all sorts of problems happen. So rather than taking the bridge off, I'm going to try to glue it. There's a crack right along the bottom as well, so I'm going to use some of my good old faithful tight bond, wedge that open, slather in some tight bond and force it into the inside and pray for a good result, although I think tight bond will do the job. And I'm going to have to clamp it there and on the top as well to make it feel solid. That is the last of the slow motion parts. You can actually see the crack along the inside there. And down below, so this is going to be difficult, but let's give it a whirl, give it a go, as they say on the YouTube channel. It's been dropped at some stage on that corner. I'm going to try to fill it in and glue it for you, but it's not going to hide it. It won't be able to hide it, but it'll just make it stronger. You'd be surprised at how awkward this is going to be. It's going to be more awkward than one thinks. Let me just get this glue open. Because if it was only a one-way, I'm just getting some of this on. If it was only a one-way gluing, pressurizing in one way, come on, come out there, glue. Let me just lift the head a little bit so it makes it more of a pleasant angle. Come on, glue, come out. That's it, that's it. If it was more of a one angle, I'll show you in a second what I mean. If it was only crushing it that way, it'd be fine, but I've got to crush it down as well. So, and I've tried a few different ways to do this, but you'll see how awkward it will become, and messy and awkward and... whenever I start to squeeze this, you're not going to be able to get at the glue on the inside. So I can see some scraping and sanding from the inside of this in my future. Okay, so I'm not going to worry too much about that now. Right, now this is the awkward bit, right? That has to go there with that, right? But it has to sit up because there's going to be a stick beneath it. If I had more clamps, I wouldn't need that, but it's going to have to be like this. So this will squeeze it, and you're going to see the squeeze through coming out there. And I think that's about as far as I want to squeeze it. Will it sit there? Because this needs to go there. Right, and I can let that fall onto it, because these are going to go onto the ends of that to push down, give me the pressure I want that way. And the rest that I have to do is going to be clean up. Now hold on a second, why are you not doing that? Can I do it this way? Yes, I can do it this way. That's okay. Right. There's pads on each sides of these, and there's very little pressure on them anyway. There's going to be very little pressure on this. It just needs a little bit of downward pressure. That's it, yeah. And downward pressure. So as I say, it's just going to be a little bit. I wish I could afford better clamps. These ones are okay, but they're not great. Right, so that's that clamping that way, and that's it clamping down enough that way. So don't want to overdo the clamping. It doesn't need to be overdone. I can see some, you can't, but I can see some glue that I can get here. And I hope this is going to do the job. If not, we'll have to take the bridge off. Right, that's going to sit for 48 hours. I had to use a bit of wood because there's a rounded back there, and I needed the clamp. And I don't want to push too far, because then you might split the wood there. So a little bit of clamp, little bit of clamp, little bit of clamp downwards. I can adjust it later on. Okay, ciao, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. We're got the daylight coming in, and it's only 12 hours later, but I'm going to take this off and let it sit, because it'll be strong enough just to hold it. But I'm going to give it another 24 hours before I actually do anything with it or work with it. But I'm just doing the unveil to see what we have, and then I'll put it away for another 24 hours. It looks grand. Hopefully you can see that. I need a new camera, I think. I don't want to spend money though. But let that sit another 24 hours, and we'll see how we get on from there. Will it stay strong enough? I hope so. Okay, thanks. Bye. Okay, that's it dried up now. So I'm going to use a little bit of sandpaper. I've already started that a bit, and just sand it down a bit. And it looks pretty good. Let me just take some of that oil off. A bit too much now for you to see it. And it looks pretty good. Now what I was thinking is, this is pre-cracked as you know, but what if I found a piece of mahogany and you put it there, you know, like another piece like that, but shape it down so that it stops about there, and so that it would act as a sort of a, if I could get the same kind of mahogany, it would, or is that rosewood, I can't remember. But anyway, if you could get it to shape down in there, it would hold that more. But if it does go again, that might be another option to do, rather than to take off this bridge on this little guitar. It may be better to put another piece going down there, and it'll be glued to the bass, and it'll be sloped up to hold that. And it wouldn't take away from the look of the guitar, but let's see how this goes. What I'm going to do now is the neck, clean up the neck, and stick some strings on it, because it's all pretty good. Maybe just a little bit of glue in there just to hide that little crack, or however that got happening. But right, I'm going to turn the guitar around and start doing the neck. Right, just tighten up the head here, because these are quite loose and they need to be firm. Not sure if I trust them too much. Oh look, there's another one of those strings that are tied. I'm going to make a point of, when I put the strings on, showing you how to do it and not have to tie it, because I hate these things. And they don't do any good either, tying strings. Some luthiers swear by it, although I've never seen them swear by it. Most of them swear at it because it's unnecessary to tie strings. Now, this here is just dirty, so I got a feeling it's, well, I got a feeling deep inside, oh yeah. Let's just check this. And there, I'm up to there. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a smooth. They're just a little bit off, but not a lot. Not a lot. Oh, looking lovely, Mr. What is it? Ground floor perfumery. What do you call it? The old man who used to come in to, oh God, I can't remember now. Are you being served? The old man used to come in and used to just walk around the place and say, oh, you're all doing a lovely job. And he'd piss off again.
Carry on, everybody. You've all done very well.
Anyway, I thought it was funny at the time, and I probably still think it's funny. Must watch it again. Right, okay. Gonna let that sit, and then I'm gonna put the strings on it. And I need to, oh, not the strings, I need to make a bridge for it out of bone, because young chappie asked for that. That's bone. That's a perfect size, and I'll shape that and make it a proper nut for him. I have a couple of those bone ones. That's a better size, yeah, okay, so I'll use that. Shape it. Alright, okay. Pause. I think I'm hungry and I think I'm going to have something to eat. Now, this little crack, I've sanded it down a little bit, and I'm now going to use some matte varnish. I better get better glasses than this, get right close to it. And it'll act like super glue a bit, but I couldn't use super glue on that because super glue comes up shiny, and we don't want shiny. This look, come on, is it a big hole there? What am I, oh, that's it now, thank you. Right, okay, come back to you whenever this is dried out, and I'm nearly finished with this guitar now. Now, some of you may have noticed that that bridge is fairly thick. I want to get the hole filled so that there's no tipping on it to add more pressure to that. I've also put a sliver of a shim in there just to make sure it's tight, because the bone wasn't quite wide enough to make it firm in there. So if this all goes well, I'll just fire through this and see what happens. But if you see that flying off and cracking, then you'll know I'm going to cry. Yes, as I was saying when I put the last two strings in, that this is rounded. It's not sharp. I made it deliberately round. Do you think I'll get finished saying what I need to say about the bridge before I get another text message? That's 7 text messages in a row from 3 different people. Need to throw that phone out the window. Anyway, let me try again. Okay. Let me just do this. What am I doing here? I put too much on. Right, okay. That is rounded for a reason. Right, that is rounded for a reason. Usually it has a sharp point like that, right? And your string sits on it for intonation purposes. But these wire wound strings can catch on the edge if it make it sharp, or even square. It might catch on it, and I don't want any extra pressure pushing on that bridge. So I've made it round and the strings will slide across it. So there you go. Now I have to bring this up to tune and see what happens. Right, that's it, almost up to full tension, and as you can see it hasn't moved in any form or fashion, and I actually may not have to do anything with the action because it looks pretty good and they're sliding nicely. So I'm going to let that sit till tomorrow. I'm going to relax and ignore all the emails that have come in to me. Alright, bye bye. That is one of the nicest sounding guitars, acoustic guitars I've had on my bench. And it's about 350 pounds new. But it's lovely. It has a couple of manufacturing things I don't like. You see, whenever you press your hand on the thing, it goes shiny, but it's a mattish finish. And the neck, there was something else which I can't remember too. I can't remember what it is, but it is probably the best sounding guitar, acoustic guitar, that I've heard on the bench. That is just so pure. And the action is excellent. That is staying in place. I think what helped it a lot was the bone bridge. That really helped. So someday we'll change that to a bone nut as well. But I think all I can do for you now, did that just go off? Yeah, do you believe, oh, there it is there. Let me just check the tuning. Now I want to check the tuning on this. I'm going to pause. Yeah, back again. I just put it on the proper tuner and I wanted to get it perfectly in tune. So it's perfectly in tune now. That is a beautiful sounding guitar. All in all, 350 pounds, yes. But I understand they're making guitars now out of a completely different wood, but they do still do sell this model, a lag. Okay, bye.